I think this is probably about the 15th resident that we've visited since we started this walkabout. This area is still flooded, even though as you can see the sun is very hot, but the water is still on the land. It has not receded. In fact, this resident that we spoke to indicated earlier that the water was much higher, but that she feels that even if she was to clean now, that the water will come again, and therefore she feels sees no need to do that. But I advise her about the importance of health and hygiene, and the fact that we are going to provide her with some help with cleaning material and so on to help her to get this place clean. And this seems to be the pattern in most of the communities that we visited, the houses, and these are not just about one ethnic group, and they are both ethnic groups, a very diverse community, and they are all suffering. The important feature of all of these places we visited is that what they're saying is that some people have been visited, but almost none of them that we have spoken to have been visited and provided with any. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Well, we are seeing clearly what is happening here. The water is basically stagnant, and we saw from the drains that the water is continuing to rise. So there is a possibility that this house will again suffer with flooding. So it's very sad, and this is sad to hear that this area, and of all the persons we've visited so far, no assistance. The Civil Defense Commission nor the minister didn't even stop and render some form of comfort, provide cleaning agents and hampers as they're doing elsewhere. Very, very sad. But we will continue to engage residents, and we will hear from them directly as to what really is transpiring in their area.
All right, we're going to speak to Ms. Steve.
Yeah, I'm so thankful and appreciate that you guys come and see what's going on. And I notice that even if coming up now, it's still not more to come up, right? But whatever you provide so that I could clean, I will clean what I cannot clean right now. No cleaning. And the place is smell when it's go out, the place is smell. Right? I have 3 children that I take care, nobody up there, so I can't bring them downstairs because this right now I look them after. So I have to carry them upstairs.
Thank you. A whole lot of work. We have requested in writing, we always do in writing. This council is an active council. So we already are aware of the rainy season, and we requested these things regionally. We requested it from the ministers, from the various ministries, from infrastructure. We requested from help from our Minister Darnell. Even for this building, you see the condition of this building, which houses a lot of agency. This is very important building. Look at the condition of this building. We requested from NDIA assistance to clear the main trenches. We made all those requests early on in the year, and we have been following up as well. To no avail is because of the flooding that we are now getting the attention, and because the scheme, I want to believe, was affected greatly, because all the work started there, all the attention there, the minister visiting the scheme. When I came and I checked on the road, nobody received a visit from any person.
Well, we heard there from the chairman himself of the NDC, and what I believe this shows is that the government is leading in a direction to completely disregard the local government system of our country. And if there is going to be a working relationship between the local government and central government, then you have to respect the elected representatives of the people from the local level. Now, it is established that NDCs are not financially capable to remedy this kind of problem. It's a national crisis. But one would have expected central government to involve the NDC councillors, who are the representatives of the people, so that they can get a clearer understanding of what actually happened in communities. But this segregation that is currently happening, and this selective visiting of communities by central government shows us that there is no actual physical operation in the direction to oneness as they speak of. And that is a sad, sad reality. You know, when the APNU AFC was in government, we established a regional disaster risk management committee, and that was done by the Civil Defense Commission because they recognized that there needs to be a greater involvement of all stakeholders if we are to take control of flooding in Guyana. So every region had a regional disaster risk management committee. 10 regions, 10 regional disaster risk management committee. And the composition of the regional disaster risk management committee were the NDC chairpersons, the fire department, the police department, the Region 3 Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Department of Health, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Public Works, and the administration itself. And they would reach frequently and strategize how to address flooding in Region 3. And I'm assuming that that happened across all other regions during the coalition time. And it was working, because you would have found under the coalition time, we used to clean these drains with excavators and weeding and cleaning and so on during the month of April into early May. So we prepare for that May-June period of rain. Now you would find situation where the water would flood some homes, but it was in a mere hour or two, or sometimes more than that. But the water would recede quickly as it would fall in the river and in the ocean going out. The water would go out at a faster rate. But look, yesterday we didn't have so much rain. Today we don't have so much, but homes are still flooded. It is because there was no proper approach in terms of preparing for this flooding. And also, I believe that the regional administration and by extension the government created this problem by not following in the footstep of a working system, which was the Regional Disaster Risk Management Committee. And additionally, we should watch it deeper, and we would see who are the contractors that are being given these projects to do now. And they're being done through sole sourcing at exorbitant prices. So it is a matter, in my view, of them putting back monies into the pockets of their friends and their families. Very, very sad situation. I believe this PPP administration, they created this problem and they're now swooping in like if they're the savior to the problem. But we are not stupid people. We can see it for what it is. But I want to take the opportunity to request and demand that the Regional Disaster Risk Management Committee be reconstituted, be reactivated, so that we can put a hands-on approach to this flood situation. Because it's going to come again. May-June raining on Starfall, this period and done. Another May-June coming. We got to prepare for it. Thank you.
Right, thanks. Thanks very much, everybody. I think what is very evident here is that there is a breakdown of the passage of communication from where decisions are made and how it affects people on the ground. And that passage of communication has been hijacked by the regional people in the regional system and the PPP party apparatus. So they identify the areas that have a problem, they identify the contractors for it, they identify the machines, and then they take it there, and then they pay them out of state funds. Out of state funds. So we have a serious problem here with respect to how these regions are managed and the way in which they communicate information to the RDCs. As the chairman, I suppose yourself, the village overseer, the NDC overseer, you are the people that are the communication link between the NDC and the RDC. And it is that level to which communication must flow. You ought not to wait at a meeting of the RDC for a PPP councillor to tell you what is happening. This is the way they try to subvert the workings of a council and putting their own people, even though they did not win this council, to ensure that they can run it in the way they want. And so I hope that you as councillors, that you stand firm, that you stay connected to the people. That is where your source of power comes from. Stay connected to the people, visit them, get what problems they have, and if you communicate it to the region and so on, as I said to you, Mr. Chairman, my office, I have an open door. Communicate to me, communicate with Ganesh. He lives over here. He is the shadow minister for local government, and therefore you will always get a response. What I'll do, I'll give you a slip so that we can actually give it to those persons who we identify to be in need, and then they will collect the items tomorrow morning. We'll have it ready by this afternoon, or by tomorrow morning they'll be able to collect it so they can start cleaning. And I would like to see images of people cleaning. I'd like to see images of councillors and so on actually there helping the people with the work which they have to do, and not just, okay, take this and go. I would like to see an engaged council, engaged with the people and doing the work with them. I can do personally as the leader of the opposition. And that is why I'm here. Right? I'm going to start doing some things today in here that will help with the flooding and the stuff that's taking place. And in the backlands, the problem here is that the waters, the coca, since the black of the coca is affecting all the backlands. And so the water is running away
from this place as well.
We know
so
that.
The street was named 𝐀𝐫𝐨𝐶 Street and acknowledged. So why
but he wasn't a politician.
No, you don't have to be a politician.
Yeah, them things messing up the country,
so
buddy.
because I tried to be a politician,
right now we get them victimized. Right now we get victimized, buddy. But right now I also got them little food thing on the stand there. We also there. Them men come in 3 o'clock, not tell you gotta close up, 7 o'clock you gotta close up. Your place close up, you still gotta make court. When you go court, you gotta pay a fine. You gotta do community service for work.
Well, listen.
You're doing coke, you know, we there.
Understand something. That once it gone in the record, that you will be in the light.
I want to know why we paying the NDC. Water coming from the back. Long boots I make here. Long boots I make it. Now, I like this flood here. And long boots I make it. What happen when they put down the wharf at the out there?
What walk is that?
But they want to put down the Trini want to put down by various sky there, next to the nursery school. Freedom Hope gonna do it. Phoenix Park, everybody gonna duck. If it's a little bit of rainfall and we got so much flood warm today when you put down the wall. You see that like we ain't got no saying?
So that's where they cut down the mangrove?
Yes. And remember the mangrove helping we. And when they cut it down, it's more flood. We can look all for the supermarket out there. Simple, we get a little rain, we flood. We do.
So were you affected by the rain recently?
Right now until now, I still got water in my fall pen. Me long boots. A long boots still here. I make it. I just till down at the back there. And the water is affecting me. The water number one stink. Where we got cocoa, we don't have coke and things to take off this water. What happened?
Yeah.
When you all the coke they shut off, what happened with me?
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Not now, just now.
Well, they call this Neil Harmon Street, and them business with hay, so we are suffering. Right, we are suffering. And now they're blocking off there. What will happen then? We getting all drainage from the back, they could break away, so if this rain doesn't hold,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know if you remember years that the canal that going straight down, that separate,
I know about that,
big
right?
blocking because people are living on that reserve now.
Going
So
here.
This is the last problem we had,
cannot go back
because people start living now
On the reserve, yeah.
So now they had a problem, of course, cleaning. Unless you use some hand, some shovel and something like that, it is difficult because people just go and live anyway. So these are some of the issues we gotta deal with as a community. And
I think not only Guyanese must understand the impact this flood has on persons, and what is more important is that the treatment we as Guyanese are getting from the government is unacceptable. It's really unacceptable. We have homes here as we talk are still covered with water. Still covered with water. We would feel pleased to know that we had a visit, even if it's a drive-through visit, and we get a promise that we'll come back. Even if they come back and say, listen, I'm going to bring you a gallon of disinfectant for you to throw in the water. I came home one night. When I parked my vehicle there was a Labari line there. Last night, I was talking to one of my neighbors, and all I hear is a big noise. It was a commodity or alligator, something that jumped overboard from her land. This is what we're going through. This is what we're going through. My downstairs, this young lady can't even sleep at home. For the past night, she hasn't slept at home. She hasn't cooked in our house for more than a week because it's in water. We have, up the road, we have the young lady sleeping in our house in water. We have this young man over here. He can't sleep in his house. It's sheer water. We have this to go through. We have this to go through. I want the president to know when you dig at the back, all the water running down here. And we have to endure this. The water is not running. And it has a terrible scent. It has a terrible scent. So once again, I want to thank Mr. Harmon and his team for the tokens and for remembering us at the back here. I know we are being neglected and there are reasons for us to be neglected. But there's a God. We will continue to pray and we will continue to have that unity that we have in Middle Street, and it will take us where we want to go.
Good morning to everybody. We are here this morning to make our contribution to the relief, to the flood relief, particularly in this community. This community has been significantly bypassed simply because I come from this village. And so all of the resources that have been provided by the state to assist with relief for these communities have been denied this community. Today we are doing something that we have done in some smaller communities and in the small way that we can help as an opposition. It is the government's responsibility to provide relief and support for the people of this country in this time of need, in this time of disaster. I've gone through several homes in this village and people's houses are still flooded. The water is beginning to take on a very pungent odor. And so many of them, they're basically just sitting there. There are some young men in the village here who have complained bitterly about the way in which elements of the state are being used against them to penalize and pressurize them. These are issues which we will take up at another level, and the nation will hear about that very soon. We will take that up at another level. But as for today, I want to say that based on the establishment which we have made our flood emergency center at the office of the leader of the opposition, we have been collecting information about the flooding. We've been collating that information, and what it has done, it has given us a sense as to the critical communities which require intervention.
Mention back in 2018 when there was a heavy flood situation in this region, mainly the coastline, due to high tides and gigantic waves that were coming over the seawall. There is a specific community, Iflot Ocean View, where Irfan Ali himself went in 2018 and told the residents at a masjid that the government must respond. The government must respond to provide relief and provide assistance. And we responded when we were in government. We provided relief. I was on the ground. Honorable 𝐀𝐫𝐨𝐮𝐧𝐝 was at the time performing the duties of Prime Minister. He came. He was on the ground. Joseph Harman was on the ground. Raphael Trotman was on the ground. Ronald Bulkan was on the ground. We responded because it is a national disaster and it required government's intervention. Because government has the resources and they have the apparatus to provide assistance to people in their times of needs. Today, fast forward to today, we have a number of communities in Region 3 that are being bypassed by this fraudulent installed administration. They have the apparatus at their disposal. The Civil Defense Commission is under political pressure to reach the needs of specific communities. The government took the time, Irfan Ali and his crew took the time to go in Potentia. They went in Namrik, Parika area. They flew past this area, Podrine. They flew past Good Fortune Main Road. They didn't go into Parfait, Harmony, Rekdozi. Those are areas that are affected too. I don't know if it is because these areas have one skin color of people, but it is as glaring as day that this administration is focused on specific communities, specific people, and it is not what a government of national unity is supposed to be. It is not what oneness means. So they should stop talk oneness and start telling people what really and truly are their intentions. We cannot continue to live like this. The opposition is now forced to go beyond our means to get resources for our people. And we will do it because you are our people. All Guyana belongs to us. And we will not segregate, we will not differentiate, nor will we sideline anybody because of their skin color or the texture of their hair. We are the opposition for Guyana, and we will soon be the government for Guyana again. I am certain about that. Thank you very much.